Good morning. On this Good Friday, I want to take just a little bit of time and talk to us about the death of Jesus Christ. Of course, everybody knows that he died on a cross. Most people assume that he died either of trauma or of blood loss, and certainly he had experienced both of those things because of the severe beating that he had taken. But crucifixion was an insidious form of torturous death. I think it was created by the Persians, and when the Romans learned of it, they discovered it and they said, "This is the most horrific way to die. We will reserve it for our worst criminals." And that's what it was for. It was for the worst of the worst. Those were the ones that the Romans crucified. Now we know that in crucifixion, your hands are nailed to the crossbeam. And most people assume that the nailing was in the palm. However, studies have shown that if that were the case, the skin would rip and tear, and they would not be able to hang for very long. So what has been discovered is that the nail is driven through the small bones in the wrist, and those bones hold the nail in place. And of course, it's considered part of the hand, so that's why it's said it was nailed in the hands. His feet were nailed together as well, and his legs were bent at the knee. Now all of this was done for the purpose of making it almost impossible to breathe. With your arms outstretched, hanging, your diaphragm is compressed, and you're not able to take a breath. So in order to take a breath, someone who was crucified had to bend their knees and straighten up in order to take the pressure off of their diaphragm. After one or two breaths, the pain would become too intense and they'd let themselves down. Sometimes for strong men, crucifixion could go on for days until they finally just didn't have the strength to raise themselves up, and so they suffocated to death. Now consider Jesus, already badly beaten, there on the cross. When he says his last words, "It is finished," and he gives up his spirit, he dies the same afternoon that he was crucified, which was surprising. As I said, it was quite common for men to go and last for days. But just to be on the safe side, the Romans would normally break a man's legs who was crucified. In fact, sometimes if they were in a hurry to speed up their death, that's exactly what they would do. Because if they broke their legs, then they were no longer able to raise themselves up and catch a breath. They were prepared to do that with Jesus. But instead, they took a spear and pierced his side, going all the way in to piercing the heart. All of this was done to ensure that Jesus was absolutely dead. All of this was done because he was taking our punishment. The severe beating that he took before he carried the cross to Golgotha, he was beaten for us, because of our sin. His hanging on the cross was punishment for our sin. His death was the death that each one of us deserved. But he took it for us. On this Good Friday, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, which is considered the time that Jesus died, will you stop and pause and give consideration to the fact that the Son of God gave his life for you? That's how much he loved you and how much he loves me. On this Good Friday, I wish you peace and many blessings. Have a great day.